infinite existed prior to the dream, it had no form. It was formless, but think of it in terms of layers of paper, one on top of each other, and it ends up making a book. Layers of it existed. The mental electrical layer was present at the same time that the feminine emotional layer was present. But it was present in the form of a divine hermaphrodite, meaning that both portions exist like leaves on a tree or like pages in a book. However, they were not unified into one. So some trauma existed. I have come up with some questions as to what happened, that questions were asked and the answer produced a contradiction, or the question produced a contradiction. But I would imagine that it happened in stages. So, in other words, within the dream, a traumatic event occurred, such a question was asked. It occurred again, another splitting took place because another question was asked. So which exactly was the question that happened outside of the dream as the first question? I am not entirely sure, but there was a question. And the question was, is this life-enhancing? Something new or something was tried that hadn't been tried before, and the question was, is this life-enhancing? And what happened as a result is a total contradiction. Only that which is life-enhancing can, in fact, exist within the being of the infinite. The question is unanswerable because it is an impossibility. Within the infinite before that time, never had an impossibility existed. And so, trauma happened. The trauma that happened was an incredible contraction of the part of the infinite's being that asked the question, the mind, the electrical component. So the masculine contracted, pulling with it the feminine, and created a ball so dense that for the first time something existed within the infinite's being the way a tumor would exist inside our bodies. Something dense enough that it could cast a shadow, and that light, instead of moving through it, would in fact bounce back. A ball of mirrors were created, and the feminine components, possibly not all but certainly some, were trapped in the middle of it. This ball, with its feminine components, constituted, if we think of the infinite as a very vast, grand computer, it constituted 1/3 of that computer's capacity. The other 2/3 from the splitting went into something frozen. If you introduce something into a computer that is foreign to it, it freezes. The other 2/3 were frozen, and the 1/3 that did function went into a deep sleep. And so the ball of mirrors, with the feminine captured still in formlessness within it, arose. A dream space was created. The feminine within it became its dream body, and the dream began. The infinite feminine must have been terrified, and it must have shattered its innocence. For the first time, the limitless being found itself confined, actually, in a prison of mirrors, a sphere of mirrors. The limitless was encased in the limited. A prison formed. We too are encased in prison bars many times. What are our prison bars made of? Our prison bars consist of limitations born of belief systems. The infinite feminine could at any time have expanded itself through the ball of mirrors, but not having encountered anything like that before, it saw only linear space. And let me explain how the linear space occurred. Formless, trapped within a ball of mirrors, the infinite did not understand in its feminine form what the mirrors were. It had no form to mirror to it, so it saw nothing. So it contracted and contracted as far away from that foreign something that had been introduced into its existence, which was merely its male, dense enough to reflect light. But it contracted until it was itself a sphere, a ball in the very middle of it. And as the ball in the middle of the sphere of mirrors, the infinite suddenly saw an image appear in the mirrors. It had a form. The mother created a first form, a sphere. And so the image, if you stand between two mirrors, my beloved light family, what you see are lines and lines and lines of images. And in a sphere of mirrors, well then, you see it in all directions. Again, the mother could not understand because a new thing had formed. Linear space. And she believed it to be real. How could she think otherwise? Had anything unreal ever existed? No. Therefore the image in front of it, which was a mirror image, was thought by the mother to be another her. And so illusion was born, because the mother believed that that which is unreal was real. When illusion was born and space was created, linear time was created as well. And linear time, as well as anything that is illusion, disturbs innocence. And so the innocence was shattered, and the sphere of light that had contracted to the middle of within this prison of mirrors was the mother. And there she shattered yet again as she went into an even deeper sleep. And as she shattered, the flower of life spheres were formed. One sphere surrounded by others, making a total, and surrounded by one, making a total of 20 spheres, 19 within the 20th. This is what occurred. The breaking up of her within created these spheres. The flower of life is actually a geometry born of trauma. It is separation-based. But it enabled something quite unique to be conceived of by the Infinite Mother. If her light was directed through one of those spheres, it made a very unique image in the mirror. If she directed it at another sphere, it made a different image. And so she got the understanding of individuated creations that she could make. How? By individuating pieces within her being. And as they are individuated within, so they become individuated without in the mirrors. And let's not forget that the mother did think that those mirrors were real. She had never before encountered anything unreal until that mirror was formed.